Test. 1, 2, 3. See me, guys. Oops. I think we're good to go. Okay, we are good to go. All right. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a good day. Loki wants to say hello, but he's playing with... I don't know what type of toy this is. Loki, up. Oh, can I have that toy? Come here. No, he's enjoying the toy too much. Gotta let me have it, or you're gonna get in trouble. Oh, shit. He don't even care about trouble here. Oh. He pretty much put it on the ground knowing I'm not going to get out of the chair to put it up. But, oh, this is an old ball toy out of an electronic toy when he was a puppy. He still likes chewing on this thing though, and it's too big to get swallowed, so that's kind of nice. Up. Yeah, okay. Loki says hello. Alright, hey everybody, hey Ave, hey Crypto Ricky, hope you guys are all having a good day. Again, I'm going to preface this, I'm not going into the charts just yet, but a whole lot of nothing happened over the last 24 hours. The only thing I would say that's changed is a little bit of sentiment. Nothing too crazy. We'll be talking about Bitcoin and some altcoins here. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to shout them out or, text them out and we'll be good. If you guys can, before we get rolling here, can you make sure to like, hit subscribe if you guys haven't subscribed already, which is going to be rare at this time in the stream. But make sure to hit and, blast some emojis if you can. I'm still getting used to that little emoji button, but we'll see how it works out. Excuse me. Still have a little fog in my throat from the last few days. I'm hoping it gets better, but I do got myself a big jug of water here that I've been drinking on for, well, only for about an hour, but it's been helping out a little bit here. All right, so let's get over to Bitcoin and everything going on right now. It really has been just a whole lot of nothing here, really, a whole lot of nothing. Yesterday, I felt like we had some optimism because we saw some oscillators kind of pointing into more of a bullish direction. We were still kind of worried because the dailies hadn't gone there and the weeklies, while they're still bullish, they are turning bearish as we speak, kind of day by day. And we're kind of still in that same position here with maybe a few more hours of information. So as you guys can see, after yesterday, we did a whole lot of nothing. We came down a little bit, went back up a little bit. Nothing happened. I thought, hey, maybe we have an opportunity to break back above the 20. That could see an increased level of volatility. Something more of 1,000 to 2,000 points up for a single day. That's not unexpected on a day like this, or where Bitcoin's up around 43,000. We can easily hit 43,000, 44,000, 45,000. We've done it a number of times before. Those swings are pretty common at this point. However, no, we didn't have that. We came down gracefully, not within a crash or anything, just gracefully. And if we go back over here to that 15-minute chart, let me zoom out on my charts here very fast. This is yesterday, right here, pretty much coming down, and all we have from today is from right here, there. We've done a whole bunch of nothing. So we're still consolidating here. After all the excitement that went on over the past few weeks, we really have gone into this real slumber mode. And you know what? I would say slumber mode is fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing in the world. But it's bad because it really doesn't present you with too many different types of trading opportunities. There was a day trade right here, it looks like, where you might have been able to make money for a few hours right back up into the order block. We haven't even been able to break out of that since 6:45 in the morning here, my time. So things are still looking pretty just boring. Now, you see the hourly charts, they turned bullish a little bit ago. We really haven't made a move yet. Let me double check on the 4-hour charts here. The 4 hour has been bullish for a while. Had a little bit of a drawdown right here. It's starting to maybe get a little bit more bullish a little bit. We're still on the fence about this. When the 4-hour chart has gone so sideways for so long, the technicals aren't really giving you any good signals here, let's be frank. We're still in a bearish change of character on the 4-hour chart as well, and we're really looking just to probably break back above 43,572 before everybody starts to get really happy with Bitcoin again. Going back over here to the daily chart, I know I told you guys I would keep you guys updated on what's happening. Let me just open up both. I can maximize the panes, basically. MACD on the daily is still bearish. Stochastic is still bearish. And of course, the RSI here is still bearish. We're not seeing any strong moves, and it's just kind of going in this sideways move. Now, of course, we do see this slowdown coming, but usually when we're at this type of point, there are opportunities where the whales can come in whales can come in and just give a jolt to Bitcoin. That's really what we're looking for, because the technicals really aren't doing it. These jolts only happen in a bull market. And I think you guys could say we are in a bull market because of everything we've seen over the past, 5-6 months by now. Basically since October is when things really started to grind up. But, really all the way back from a few months after the FTX fiasco. So it's been a minute. That being said, I'm still going to stick to what I told you guys yesterday. If you guys want to get more into that bearish and more of a panic mode, you guys are going to be looking to see when Bitcoin breaks down below 40,222. We're not there yet. We're over $2,000 away from it, and we're just trying to hold these very extreme higher lows, because these last two higher lows have just been crazy wicks. So if you wanted to maybe get a little bit more bearish in the short term, maybe you could wait to see if we break down below 41,494. But honestly, we're just trying to make these higher lows. We're trying to go up a little bit higher. We're trying not to have this death cross here, but we've been in this situation before where everything's looking pretty bearish from a technical perspective. And again, whales will come in here and give Bitcoin the jolt it needs. It's very hard to buy and wait for that thing to happen. So normally you're just going to be looking for opportunities when all the 4-hour charts are going your way, and maybe you'll make some money, maybe you don't, but that stop loss will kind of stop you from losing too much money if you want to take on that, which is a very high risk trade, right? You're betting that not the technicals are correct. You're betting that whales are going to come in here. Because remember, the daily is still not bearish here. So it's going to be hard to try to go with the 4-hour chart. Remember, throughout this period, the 4-hour charts were still bearish. And if you tried to go off of any of these, let's say, for instance, there was a buy signal. Is the buy signal right here? Yeah, okay. And right there as well. Okay. Let's say you tried to go off of a buy signal here. Let me just pop that up here. You technically did make some money, but and I know it was not much profit there. You probably had to look at a very ugly Fibonacci chart at the same time. High, low, high, low. It went right to the one level. That's all it did, and it went there a couple times. So, not much was done. And of course, if you held on too long, your stop loss probably got hit. It wasn't a good time for anybody. It's one of those types of things. All right, let me hop out of this stuff very fast here. But yeah, Bitcoin's still consolidating. I wish I had better news for you guys. We're not in a terrible spot, but we're not in a good spot either. Let's be frank. This sideways action is not helping anybody, especially since we've had a breakdown here. We're consolidating after a breakdown, which usually leads to some type of continuation of the breakdown, which is why I'm so adamant that pretty soon we're going to be having either a multi-$1,000 drop day, like 2,000 to 3,000, or we're going to be having a pump day where we go up like $2,000 to $3,000 on the bullish side here, where we're breaking back above the 20-day moving average. I think either are possible right now, but I think unless whales come in here to boost up the market, you're still going to be looking at that bearish move happening more likely than the bullish move happening. All right, let me move some stuff over here. I got a lot of stuff on my screens today. And hey, Trev, happy to see you. Hey, Crypto Beehive. I know back in the day you bought things like Doge with an MC of under 10 million probably. Will buy any high risk coins going into the new bull run like last time. Yeah, I can bring that up in a second. Somebody had a question. Alp, Dogecoin? Yeah, Dogecoin, it's like the same thing as Bitcoin basically. It's not doing anything over the past few days. Here's what I could say. It's just turning. It's not even bullish all the way yet. There's an opportunity for it to turn bullish. If you wanted to buy Dogecoin right now, you'd have to have a stop loss around 0.07425. It's not the type of trade I'd be making, but you're basically just looking for it to retest the 20-day moving average, then spike back up here to a level of resistance between 0.087 back up here towards the 50-day moving average. You can see the consolidation happening right here. The bad thing is we've just had a death cross here. And then it looks like we're going to have another death cross here coming up pretty soon, which may bring Dogecoin all the way back down here to the 7-cent range, which is like a penny less than where it is now. That's if we start to break down, which we haven't broken down yet. But you can see those death crosses forming. What you really want to have happen here, go over to the weekly chart very fast, is you're basically just looking to hold on top of the 20-week moving average here. When we break down below this, it's usually not the funnest of times. There's a lot of volatility around it, which makes it really cool. Sorry, I'm expecting a delivery, but I don't know if that's my delivery truck or not. Nope, not my delivery truck. Oh, I swear, I'm due like 5 packages, and they're all stuck in the central United States because I guess bad weather or something. It's just been a freaking hassle. But anyway, yeah, Dogecoin's just barely resting on some support levels. You really want to see those 20-week moving averages hold. If not, that's where you really see that larger move down. Daily chart, you know, it's fine. You see the heck is going on here? Auto. Okay, there you go. The weekly charts are kind of more mixed right now, obviously, because Bitcoin is more mixed, especially over the past few weeks. It had a pump, then it dropped like it normally does. Then you have the daily here that's trying to turn bullish, but not there yet. You know, you could go long right now and see what your best chance is, but I would have a tight stop loss. If you're buying at 0.08072, my stop loss is going to be right down here. And from there, I'll see how that, you know, that's the trade I would make. But right now, just because it breaks out here doesn't mean it's going to go higher. It might actually just break out a little bit and then come screaming back down. Not screaming, but just come back down. That's probably a better way of looking at it. Yeah, really not much happening with Dogecoin. Not much happening with any altcoins at this point. You know, even ICP, even that's been going steady over the past few days. And it's pointing towards bearish moves over the last few days as well here. So it looks like it wants to flush and come back down here to $9. We'll see. ID token a little bit more optimistic here. Had a buy signal the other day. It went up a little bit more. But again, it went up to resistance levels, got rejected, and now we're just seeing if we can go back up to those resistance levels. EOS still consolidating. XRP still consolidating. XRP should have already flushed down, but I guess everybody's just waiting for that move or something. Because if you go look at weekly charts for a lot of altcoins, XRP's bearish. Ethereum is going to be bullish just because of what we saw happen here. Remember, I saw a lot of people talking about how yesterday's daily candle was the day that everything was supposed to pop for Bitcoin, or for Ethereum, and I was like, I don't know, Bitcoin seems to be in this kind of slump right now, and Bitcoin kind of stopped Ethereum from going up, if you ask me. On the daily chart, look at Ethereum already went back down to being negative. The RSI is about to turn negative, and the MACD is about to turn negative. So you may see Ethereum have a complete flush here for a couple of days, and by flush I just mean coming back down to about $100, and then maybe it moves on a little bit later. But all these signals that we really love, they're just not happening here. ADA consolidating. You know, it's been bearish for a while. I would say now it's getting to be a little bit more mixed. Dogecoin again bearish, trying to turn bullish. AMP is bearish. Ape is bullish right now, of all things. Had a little bit of buy signal right here, and it popped a little bit. But again, it's just not the best setups for many things out there right now. You're really just looking for, you're basically just sitting on your hands. Because again, this is what we've had to work with Bitcoin. This is not the big moves that you would normally want to be trading because the profit here is just not the best, of course. All right, there we go. Long term, does Dogecoin break all-time highs? Yes, I do. I do believe that. And a computer guy, happy to see you back, my man. And also the real transporter. Also Carl and KJ, happy to see you guys back as well. Okay, so as far as tokens I'm buying now, I have a lot. The tokens that I'm buying are not necessarily like, they're not going to do fantastic all the time. They're high risk for a reason. If I go over to coinmarketcap.com, I can probably find a few that I've invested in. Oh, there's new cookies. Okay. And I was going to do filters. Add filter. At this point in time, I'm looking for tokens under 10 cents. I moved it up from a penny here. Apply filter. I'm going to come down to here and I'm going to change the market cap. Now, the market cap can be anywhere between $750 million or $500 million. For me right now, what I'm thinking of doing is actually choosing things that are around $500 million. And they're things that have maybe pumped up from like $300 million or $250 million over the past year. But I think they have enough momentum to carry on into the altcoin season. So that's kind of where I'm at there. That's 500,000. That is not what I'm looking for. There you go. I'm going to show the results. And these, you know, if I were to do this like a couple months ago, these are not the results you would see because a lot of the number 1s and 2s on this list, they've actually been pumped up towards the top 100 list. And a lot of these things right here, they've actually been pushed. There's things that were doing okay and or they got pushed back down off of the top 100 list as new things kind of moved up. So Normally the way I do this is go year to date, but we're kind of at the beginning of the year, so year to date really doesn't do much for us here. So what I'd actually add on top of this is customize, and I'd be looking for, oh, this one doesn't have the 180. Let's give it a 60-day chart. That's fine. Okay. And we're going to be looking for stuff over the last 90 days and how it's been doing. So you can see something like Helium Mobile. This is up 2,700%. We would have to double check that and all that other type of stuff in the stats. And at $263 million market cap, I might toss 20 bucks in that to see where it goes. It's down 50% over the last 30 days apparently, which makes sense just because of because it looks like it's popped up so much. There should be a trading view chart on here. There we go. Oh, I don't know. Now it's up 14% today. I'm not entirely sure. Market cap. Yeah, the market cap was just around 244. Oh, this is 1 day. That's why I'm looking at it. So when did it open up? 1 month ago. Okay, so the market cap's been coming down a little bit just because of what's been happening in the overall market and the fact that this pumped up so much that naturally just comes back down. This is something where if I could do more research on it, I might buy it into it. But let me just go down some of the list of things that I'd personally be looking to buy. That I know that it's on my list. Terra Classic, I totally forgot about that one. AMP is a biggie for me. VThor token is something I invest a little bit in, but not a lot. Dent is something I've been looking at. I've only invested, I think, like 50 bucks in there, so it's not like my most favorite, but it's fine. Anything? Hollow, something I invested in. Raven Coin is something I've avoided. I think that thing's been around for so long and it just hasn't been doing a good job. Theta Fuel, something I invested in. Spell Token, something I invested like a few $100 into, like quite a few $100. This one, oh, Spell Token, it's been interesting to watch, but I really haven't made, I've made a small profit, but not too much. Not over the last 90 days though, it's only up 33%. Telecoin is something I've been buying. Digibyte, something I've been buying. Anything else here? Doge on Mars is something I bought, but I haven't been buying much of lately. Harry Potter Obama Sonic coin is something you may buy just as a YOLO, but I haven't bought it. It's actually, these ones are down 23%. Loom Network is something I've invested in. I know it's down 12% for the last 90 days, but it was booming earlier. So I think I'm still profitable on that one. Second page here. Rocka is one right there. Linear Finance is one. I might have to check out this Sidious token actually. I don't have any of this, but I saw the price is up a little bit. Maybe I should. Metaverse made by Sidious Gates, game publisher with multiple game studios, unified lore book, AI technology, and blockchain tech. Oh. All of that onto the watch list there. Alter is something I've added a little bit into. Reef is something I've bought in. UFO Gaming, I have like $1,000 in UFO Gaming. This thing is a tiny market cap. Starlink is something with I have a bit of money in there. It's a $32 million market cap. I actually have way more money in these two than I probably should. But basically, like, they have these cycles where they go up a lot. So I sell a lot, and then I buy it back down. And then eventually comes back up, so you're just getting more and more tokens, and then over time it kind of pops off of that. But anything else in here? I think so. Things that I actually have. No, we can go through one more page though very fast. These are going to be very small tokens that I probably don't hold any of these. Unless I bought something and it went down. I don't own any of these. Forward tube sounds interesting though. It's only up 20% though. Never mind. It doesn't. But yeah, those are a few right there. I don't really see anything. Step finance. Oh, it's actually up 274%. I don't own any, but usually something that has a finance in it, they usually do okay for a while. Then they might die out, but they do okay for a while. Point like 6 cents. That's not terrible. $15 million market cap. And how is it on X? 60,000 followers. That's not bad. On-chain analytics, learn. Huh. I mean, it looks like they got stuff set up the way they need to, so yeah, I might toss a little bit of money into Step right here. Yeah, this to my watch list as well. Not Sidious. Yeah. That might not be a bad play either. But, you know, how do I say it? You definitely just want to do more research than what I just did right there. Let's just say that. Like, that's why it's on the watch list and I didn't just buy it all of a sudden. Yeah, there's some plays out there, but 20 to a couple $100 is usually enough. If you want to put more in that, then you really got to be spending at least like 50 hours plus of research on them. Maybe 50, 40, maybe 40. Like just going through, and you know, research doesn't mean you just like looking through all their files and stuff, because a lot of stuff can be big. It means you hop in their community, talk to people. Don't let the community sucker you into buying something before you're ready to buy it. That type of stuff. But yeah, those are a few. Those are a few for you. Sorry, guys. Why is the market bearish? Well, right now, over the past few months, we've been having this catalyst, the Bitcoin spot ETF, that was really driving up prices. Every time we had some pretty sudden dumps, buyers would come back in because everybody believed that as long as the spot Bitcoin ETF was coming, we were all going to benefit off of that massive boom that was going to occur. However, when the spot Bitcoin ETF was announced, the process of which it was announced over the past few days was just so bad because of the SEC making a number of mistakes. The first one being the person that runs the Twitter account, their phone was compromised, and so they were able to go into Twitter using their phone, and they didn't have the two-factor authentication, which made it very easy to actually go in there without an email or something like that to kind of add the extra layer of security, let's just say that. So on that first day, we had a pretty significant spike when we had the false information. After that spike, though, we had a sudden crash because, of course, Gary Gensler came out and said, this is wrong. This is not what happened. The following day, we did have the announcement, but it was a very muddled and it wasn't very enthusiastic. People were still kind of trying to figure out if it really was the correct announcement or not. So we didn't see that initial big boom. We saw maybe a small spike, and then we kind of just went back down, and then we started going sideways for a little bit. After all of that, we had, kind of during that, kind of hidden in the background, we had inflation data come out. That inflation data was actually quite hot. We have been expecting inflation to go down more and more and more, or the market has been pricing that in, because a few things. Everybody is betting that the inflation will come down, so everybody's been pricing that in because they're pricing at the same time rate cuts. So when rates come back down or rate cuts happen, that means the market will go higher. Everything's really excited, yada, yada, yada. But unfortunately, if I go over here to, a lot of you guys have already seen this before. Oh, I got a pin in here that's messing up my typing. From the Charter Hotel in Seattle. Oh, I get drinks here. Let's see. Okay, so you see right here, it's not like the biggest pop ever. It's not like we're all the way back up here on 6%, 5%, even 4%. What happened is we went from 3.1 to 3.4. We went from 3 to 3.2 last year, and that caused a lot of chaos in the markets because inflation started to go back up bit by bit by bit. And so from July, August, September, what we basically had was July, August, September, excuse me. Basically what we had was the stock market coming back down. Once we plateaued, the market kind of plateaued along with it. And during October, that's when the rally really hit off. So think about July, August, September, October, those 4 months. We back out here for Bitcoin, or maybe if I do this, July, August, September, plateau, October, go down, and that's when we boosted. Same thing happened. Oh, there you go. August or July, right? Well, this data comes out in the middle, so it actually did okay for the stock market. But the following month, August down, September down, October down, November up. NASDAQ, same thing. SPY, same thing. So basically what was happening was that wasn't a good thing for the economy. Everybody was afraid of more rate hikes. Now we're not dealing with more rate hikes anymore, though. Now we're dealing with, they're not cutting rates fast enough. And what we basically saw happen over the past few days after the inflation data was announced, or the CPI data was announced, you saw, Jesus, this looks so weird on the chart right now. Let me get the Fibonacci levels, even though you can see that resistance level. You guys will be fine. What we basically saw is the dollar, after a while of consolidating, it actually broke out. We had inflation data come out here Thursday. If I were to go back over here to last Thursday, bloop, 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 bloop. You can see that big move right there. It came back down, but for whatever reason, it takes the market like a few days to let it marinate and cook before we start to see those negative moves. And I think that's because, again, we're not in that mindset of adding more rate hikes anymore. We're in that mindset of not cutting rates. So what does that mean? I think it's much more subjective to every hedge fund or person out there about what the market's going to do next. For most people, it just means, okay, we're going to have to wait a little bit more time before rate cuts happen, but we're not questioning, oh yeah, are we going to have rate cuts at all this year? We're going to have rate cuts as far as the market is priced in at this point. So, but what happened earlier this week also was America, Britain, and I think a few other countries, excuse me, talking makes me burp for a reason, excuse me. What happened also was a bunch of countries, United States kind of led them, and we kind of bombed the shit out of some Yemen people, Yemenis, I think that's the way you pronounce it. People in Yemen, Houthi rebels, whatever, they were messing with our shipping lanes, and it's causing a lot of chaos in the shipping market, which could also lead to more inflation, which is such a dangerous thing at this point for the charts. But that also led to a whole nother level of uncertainty paired with inflation. It was kind of like this perfect storm to see the dollar index really start to have a little bit of a boost here. Now, we don't really have any global leaders. This goes for the United States, my country. We're not exempt from this. Really, China, Putin in Russia, European leaders. We don't have a consensus of how to like cool the temperatures of the global Cold War kind of going, I guess hot war in Europe or whatever, hot war in Middle East. We're not entirely sure how to calm the waters here because everybody is trying to put their interest first, as countries normally do. It just normally doesn't escalate to this level. So this level of uncertainty is just causing a little bit more wariness, and people obviously just pulling out the money a little bit. It's not a complete disaster, you know. What makes something like this actual disaster for the markets is if we have multiple months of inflation going back up. God forbid we hit back above 4%. That's what people start to be like, whoa, 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 what is this? Because again, you know, if we go back to the history of inflation, this is just the last year. You go to the max, what you see a lot of the time here is, my head's not blocking it. Yeah, it's not blocking it. You see these peaks of inflation go down, peak again, peak goes back down, peaks up again. And that's really what Jerome Powell is trying to stop from happening. Right now, we're in a much different world than we were in 1980 and in 1940. So I would say there's a pretty decent chance we can kind of get out of that. But there's just a lot of chaos involved in this right now, and everybody's kind of worried about what's going to happen. And there's a lot of politics at play here because, of course, There's an election coming this year in America, and I think other countries or maybe around the world as well. But the economy would feel a little bit better, or people would feel a bit better if rates came back down. Inflation would probably go back up, and that would hurt people in the long term. But it could help out President Biden's poll numbers, which I think are kind of sitting around like 41%. I think even some have them like down below in the 30s, which is really bad. It's like less than Trump, and I think Trump was viewed as a very unpopular president by people. So not really the best, right? So that's kind of like a lot of stuff that's going on at this point in time. Plus, you know, during election year, we tend to do okay in the market, but this election year, how would you even say it? They've ramped up the rhetoric, so it's like, we know what Joe Biden has done to the economy. It hasn't been good, right? But like, if Trump wins, and I guess the polls have him leading in a lot of the swing states, which is like how we, you know, we're not like our democracy isn't based off of, how would you say, popular vote. It's just based off of electoral votes that come from states, because each state has a voice, so to speak, in how the president is elected. But, you know, the rhetoric coming from, I guess, Biden is, if Trump is elected, the world's going to end. Democracy is over. We're going to be living in fascist something, right? A fascist leader A, fascist leader B. And so that can also cause unforeseen consequences. And then, of course, we're having like a potential shutdown every other freaking week now, just because Congress can't get their act together. So, you know, just chaos, uncertainty, wars spreading, you know, a lot of issues. Base right now, just focus on inflation. That'll kind of tell you where we're going. Right now, inflation not being good has led us to really stopping on all fronts. We're not really making these stronger moves like I thought we might. I thought we might have a little bit of a pump, like one last gasp of a move for Bitcoin, for the NASDAQ, SPY, stuff like that. We're not really having that big move right now because inflation's slowing us down, war is slowing us down, potential government shutdown slowing us down. You know, you name it, politics slowing us down. It's not a good time. Not a good time for anybody out there. Hey, Zecker, the real question, once tax season arises with the new tax credits, would that be enough to get crypto pumping again? I think so. Like, there's been new changes for tax law. Like, I'm no tax expert when it comes to cryptocurrency, but like, now my business has to do different things a different way. I'm not entirely sure. I gotta talk to my tax person, because like, it's good for crypto holders that run businesses. But for the average crypto holder, I'm not entirely sure. We're not getting any more stimulus here. I know that we've been pumping a lot of money into the economy, so that can keep us afloat for a while, though. Like the Inflation Reduction Act? I mean, that was a very expensive act, and I think it's gonna... You know, honestly, I don't know how the Inflation Reduction Act is gonna really do overall. I think that program was really just like... Okay, I go into the nitty-gritties of laws in my pastime just so I can kind of find out what exactly the goal of the bill was. The Inflation Reduction Act really wasn't about reducing the inflation that I think most of you guys might think it is. So, like, when we think about reducing inflation, we're thinking about improving the supply chains, which it does. Okay, here, take a 10-second break. Loki's just sat down next to me, gave me a little nose rub. He's like, hey, I want a 10-second head rub. Yeah. I don't know if you can see him. Oh, yeah. He's been much more active because I can't take him outside because it's like the heavy rain. And he likes biting my hands a lot more because I'm not wearing my necklace or my rings today. I just decided not to wear them. Oh my god, you're showing off all your angriness. Oh. Well. I know. Smells like coconut oil, right? Alright. Okay. Back to the back to the cryptocurrency stuff. Alright, actually, what was your question, Zacher? Oh yeah. No, I don't know. There's been a lot of changes in the rules here because there's been no new laws being passed, right? It's been definitely a weird one. Okay, my audio is still working. Sorry, just making sure it was. Okay, everything's still working. Okay, sorry. This cord right here is the thing, number one thing that gets like dislodged from either my headphones or my little Go LXR Mini thing over here. He's ready for playtime. He's ready for playtime. But yeah, when it comes, when it comes to the reduction in Inflation Reduction Act, there's like different reasons why it was put up. Inflation was naturally going to come down quite rapidly because that's typically what it does, right? You saw that chart a few seconds ago. When you're looking at inflation, it's not like we just stay up there. No, it comes up really fast. It comes down really fast. Eventually, it was going to come down really fast. The reason they did this, I believe, was a very smart reason. So what they're trying to do in a semblance is you probably heard about the CHIPS and the CHIPS Act and stuff like that as well. Those two packages were really designed to try to bring back some manufacturing back to America for a multitude of reasons. You could think of like, this is too deep of a thing to really try to go into the weeds about. Can I keep this high level? No, there's no way to keep it high level. I'll just skip parts of it. Basically, you guys know that globalism versus protectionism has been a big thing in the world, and all the global leaders are trying to find ways to stop it from happening, right? Stop deglobalization from happening. They want to see globalization happen, whether it's leaders in the UK right now, America, Europe, China. China still wants to sell with us. We still want to buy from China. You know, there are those factors going on. But if you guys hadn't noticed, I guess actually this goes back to politics. You guys know how one of the reasons that Trump won the last election in 2016, was because we did globalization too fast, and a whole bunch of people in the Rust Belt area, if I'm knowing the area correct, they got pretty much screwed over because their livelihoods were destroyed. Everybody was like, oh, you guys can just learn a new trade. It'll be easy. You can get a new job. No, they were like, dude, this is hard. I've been doing this my whole life, and you take it away from me to give the job to Mexico, Canada, Asia, whatever. Middle finger, they vote for somebody that disrupts the entire system. They're trying to go against that push, right? So they're going to try to bring jobs back. So now they're going to try to build chips here. They want to try to do some more car manufacturing here. They want to be able to have the supply chain closer to home, so you don't really have to worry about all those inflationary pressures put on top of everything. The issue with that type of mentality is you will see Americans have good paying jobs. That is not an issue. But there's a reason we don't build iPhones here. There's a reason we don't build all of our cars here, because the finished product is going to be more expensive. And so what we're going to have eventually is you're going to have different products just be massively expensive inside the United States. Remember a few years ago when we thought the iPhone being $1,300 or $1,200 was very, very expensive? They haven't been able to actually raise the prices anymore because people have like capped that out. And so they're trying all they know how to do within the systems, like the global systems, to really stop that from that shift towards populism, that shift towards deglobalization, because that causes chaos across the world. Regardless if you like it or whatever, not, putting your national interests, that's a whole different argument. But that's what they're trying to do right now. And it's going to have a lot of effects, good and bad. We're going to find those effects out, I would say, from the year 2025 to maybe 2030, because that's where all that money's going to really be sloshing in there quite a bit. But, it's like America isn't just playing by itself. China is not just playing by itself. Europe is not playing by itself, and all the little countries in there. Basically, if our taxes, and we have all these incentives to build chips in America, well, what's to stop a Canadian company from saying, hey, we don't want to start up our business with our capital in Canada. We want to put all of our capital in America so we can buy a chip factory, because America is going to pay us lots of dough to build chips. And the way federal money usually works, if you guys didn't know, which is the bad thing, the government will give you lots of money, even if you're providing a very shit product and you're not efficient at it. And so the winners and losers, the losers don't die off. They're still getting paid. And so you're going to have a period of just a lot of chaos in there. But America, I think, will actually be okay during this period of time. We'll go into a slump, or, there'll be slumps and stuff like that. But like Europe, Canada, Mexico, think of this. If an Italian businessman and you have $5 billion. This is a number I'm throwing out there. You have $5 billion to invest into chip manufacturing. Are you going to invest and put that money into Europe where they're not tossing out lots of incentives? It's very hard, more regulated. Or are you going to say, well, I'll just pour that money into America and I'll be able to make a lot of profit, more profit, less regulation. Even if I don't get my plants down to be like really efficient or really good quality items, I can still get those incentives regardless. You get what I'm saying? So America's going to draw in a whole bunch of money from the rest of the world. The rest of the world obviously is not going to be too happy about that. I was actually just watching a video about some of the green energy stuff going on in Europe. And you know how France wants to be very wants heavy, like they want to do more uranium energy, and Germany's opposed to it because of climate change and stuff like that. If you think about it like this, the way it was presented on the on the video, which actually I thought was pretty interesting to kind of hear, was they're trying to do the same thing as well, as, you know, start to manufacture stuff back in there, do investments to have things made in France again, things made in Germany again, things made in England again, yada, yada, yada. But if France has lots of cheap uranium energy and Germany has the typical more expensive energy, who's going to be making goods at the best cost, the lowest cost, therefore the best prices? France. And that means France is going to be more of a competitor to Germany. So they're all trying to balance out all of these things, which is why you see Europe not able to really come into one state, because there's too many differing agendas going on, where, you know, Germany doesn't want the uranium in their country, or the uranium power plants. France does, but France wants it because they want that cheap energy. And if not America talking about cheap energy, I know Trump's been banning, like drumming the things. Biden has been pumping a lot more oil. I don't know if you guys have been watching oil production. If I can find it here. This is from 20, let's go 5 years, right? 2021, 2022. 2022 is the year of inflation. Gas prices got really high. It was a political thing to say, hey, we want cheaper oil prices. Biden, why are you raising gas prices? Biden doesn't have much control over gas prices, but he has control over a lot of the regulations and the ability for a lot of these companies to invest for the future. And so he let some laws go. Like, he's like, okay, we'll cut some of these laws out of here so you can pump more oil. And boom, you can see how production is just going crazy. Look at Max. We're pumping more oil than ever before under a Democratic president. We want cheap energy. We want to make these goods at a lower cost. So there's like a big global war going on in this department. And it's quite interesting to see, but it's just, I don't know how it cools off. But there's so many different cool little things happening. And I think America's going to be fine with all this. Our issue really isn't the manufacturing or how we're trying to play this game, because Trump had a good idea. Biden has okay ideas. His implementation hasn't been good, obviously, but the ideas were, okay. Obama fixing us out of the storm, that was okay. He did okay at that. Took a little bit longer than I think people wanted, but it was fine. Looking back, some people were messed up, some people weren't, but as a whole, the country wasn't in like a foundational shaking point. Now, what we have to worry about really isn't the economy in the short term. I would say for most people, it's it is economy, but basically, how does America manage its debt? That's really the issue, because we're not going to be able to pay off the debt, but we have to increase our GDP so that GDP to debt ratio kind of balances back out. I think that's what's concerning a lot of people, and a good way to do that is an investment in chips and cars and industry and all that type of stuff, right? AI is going to be massive. So, yeah. They're not going to try to pay off the debt. As far as I'm concerned, raise your hand if you disagree with me and you think America is going to pay off our debt. I think basically we're just going to try to pump up the GDP numbers, and that could be the help. If you go over here to GDP. GDP has nothing in search results. GDP, trading, economics, okay. This is not the one I'm looking for here. Actually, I might find it over here. It is GDP. Yeah, okay. Max, you see how we're building up, building up, building up, building up? We're just trying to speed that up a little bit. 25, right? 2020 was a weird year, of course. We kind of went down a little bit. 2021, we're back on course, back on course, back on course, right? If I go the last 10 years, you can kind of see, right? Big jumps in 2019. Trump came in and he did some tax cuts, which kind of shut up the production, you know, of United States. But basically, you can see, generally speaking, besides 2020, we're still moving up. Joe Biden hasn't really messed up with that stuff too much. It's just where does that money go? Where does the wealth go? And that's where you have all the politics part of it. All right, getting back to Bitcoin here, it looks like it's falling down a little bit. It's getting hit. I don't think Bitcoin liked my little spiel about global uncertainty. But yeah, you're seeing a slight breakdown here off of Bitcoin. Slight breakdown. It's not a big one, but we'll kind of keep an eye on it to see what's happening. All right, sorry for the long spiel, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's impacting Bitcoin's prices. Bitcoin will go up because I believe America won't be able to get its debt under control. I think that's one of the reasons that, like, when people talk about Bitcoin going to 1 million, a hamburger is probably going to cost like $50 by then. So, you know, having $1 million worth of Bitcoin today is not the same as having $1 million worth of Bitcoin like 5-10 years from now. What do I feel about Tron? It's okay. I've never really bought into it, but I know a lot of people that own it. They've been happy or disappointed, but they still mostly hold on to it. Hey, Larry Roar. And then my guy Spooky, it's time to sweep the supports. I mean, it looks like that's what we're trying to do, but at this point in time, we've just tried, and we just haven't been able to really break down below that 42,000 level. 40,200 level, excuse me, different numbers. But yeah, you can see on the 15-minute chart, we just turned bearish about an hour ago, and we're looking to go down a little bit more. You know, it was a good day trade if you guys wanted to take it. Right now, shorts are obviously going to be the ones that you guys are taking because the daily's bearish. The weekly is just making it a little bit more difficult because everything's not aligned anymore. Show no fear, buy more dividend pairs. Nothing wrong with hitting more guaranteed 10 to 14% dividend pairs. Yeah, I just told you yesterday, I'm probably going to start buying into more oil stocks here. I know for me, I've really liked PXT, but I think PXT is kind of spiked up a little bit. Not really much going on. Maybe what I'll do is I will start doing some more content and videos for like top 5 dividend stocks. I put out a few of those, but I don't think the YouTube algorithm pushed them out because they're not the best content. Let me see if I can find one that was done more recently. Bitcoin's doing okay though. So if I go over here, October 2nd, 2022. That video got 723 views. Made me $5.36. Let me see if I can find out. Can I find this video online? Oh, here we go. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I was definitely not making videos as good as I was back in the day. Okay. Altria is a tobacco company working to reduce the harm of now they provide a whopping 9% yield. So the first stock I chose to invest in was Altria Group. Now they provide a whopping... Okay, let me see if I can find this stock. Can I see? Altria Group is one. Yep, basically in the same exact point. So we talked about it. Oh, I wish I was able to figure out exactly the date it published. Okay. I talked about it right here, October 14th. It went up after I talked about it, but it's pretty much gone sideways. But the big thing here was it was a dividend play. So let me go over here to FinViz. I don't remember what the dividend was on this one. Because dividends are usually what I got, but I have some of this, but I haven't touched it at all. I should probably give it a look. MO. Yeah, 9.43% dividend. So it's been paying out and it has a slight profit. You know what I mean? So, but I should probably do another one of those. But, you know, honestly, most of you guys probably would have enjoyed selling it up here. But it looks like it had a bad earnings report or something recently. Yeah, bad earnings report right here. Looks like that had an issue with it. Back over here, not entirely sure what happened. Probably some news or something like that. But yeah, this is a tobacco company, so it's a whole different type of company that you guys are going to be looking at. So it's kind of like it's a whole different industry. Let's just say that. But historically, it does pretty well. But you can see how we're kind of more in this early 2000s range here, and not in this bull run from the 2008 move. Was there any other ones here? Have Simon Property Group. Oh, I haven't. I totally forgot about this one. So here's another one. This is Simon Property Group, SPG. This one has a 5.24% one. Okay, that's not the right one. SPG. Oh, okay, there we go. Let's go to the weekly charts. Again, we talked about it back over here in October. It's actually gone a little bit higher. I wonder why. I think malls have just been doing well for the holidays. That could be it. But, you know, the dividends are really where it's been at. It doesn't pay every single... Actually, does it? Are these monthly dividend plays? I'm not entirely sure. But it has had some downgrades in December. Really hasn't done much to the price, has it? But yeah, so... There's some good, I guess both were winners, but this one obviously was more of a winner. But the dividends are really where I've been looking at. I'll put out another video like that. I'm pretty sure people might like it. What's the last one here? Dividend stock number 3. What's this one? Minerals. Oh, I totally forgot about this one. Which one? So this is BSM. When I make these types of guesses for holding for like a year or something like that, it's always interesting to see how they did in the thing. Oh yeah, 12% dividend, 11.78. Blackstone Mineral, October 2022. So we were buying way over here. Oh geez. Yeah, it pretty much hasn't done anything but give you dividends. The growth has kind of slowed down from it. I bought this back over here, so this is something I had on my personal watch list. I thought I might do a little bit better. If it breaks down below this order block, though, I probably would have to sell it. But yeah, Blackstone Minerals, a good dividend play here. 12% dividend. Oh yeah, wow, that's a good one. Oh yeah, you had some downgrades last year as well. Not many. Anybody selling off? No, because they've been... The CEO and chairman is loading up on shares. Holy moly, he's loading up on shares. What does he know? I might not sell after all. That's a good dividend play just to hold on to for a while. But yeah, I mean, those are some of the dividend plays. I'll give you guys some more here later on. Those are not the ones I'd be investing in now, obviously. Those were specifically for buying in the 2022 market, end of the 2022 market, what I saw as potential growth dividend plays there. So there you go. It looks like they overall did fine. Some did better than others, but it doesn't look like anybody lost money with those plays, which is a good thing here. Especially when you get some of those higher dividend plays like 12%, they're usually they're much harder to get some really nice profits off of them, let's say that. So I normally, like, you know, normally you might find a YouTuber giving you 10 or 12 or something like that. I might only give you 3 or 4 because I have to make sure those 3 or 4 is the best ones I can possibly find. Maybe ChatGPT can help me out this time around, actually. I believe that Bitcoin never had a blow off top because all the money flowed into all the new coins that were created. I believe altcoins have blown the top off as a whole. I mean, in a part, yeah, the total crypto market cap has always been something to look at, but with regulation, a lot of those altcoins go away. The ability for people to put money into those altcoins goes away. So, you know, there might not be any legal swapping place in America after regulations come in, because all tokens are going to have to go through some type of investigation process where people, like the bureaucracy, is going to look through them, make sure all the financials are correct, and then once all the financials are correct, then you're going to say, okay, now you're able to go onto this exchange. So it's going to be much more regulated than you think. A lot of those altcoins will be something more like the over-the-counter markets, but they'll be a lot more expensive to get into. There's probably going to be some commissions involved, just like regular over-the-counter markets, and it's just not going to be as profitable as you think, or not you think, but people think. Yeah, it's gonna be a little difficult out there for a lot of the altcoins in like 10-15 years from now. Right now, Congress can't even pass a budget, so who knows when they're gonna pass crypto regulations. So we're kind of fine for we're kind of fine for this bull market, maybe even another bull market here. You know, a very inept Congress like we have right now, where the president can't seem to push stuff in at this moment in time. Republicans can't seem to get anything done, and Senate Democrats can't seem to get anything done. It puts up a nice little spot for people in the altcoin market to breathe a sigh of relief and be like, okay, regulation isn't coming for a while. We can keep on making new tokens. We can keep on building up new tokens, new business, and stuff like that. That also does lead to a lot of people getting scammed and stuff like that, which can also be a problem. But you know, it is what it is at that point. Bet we're $35 trillion in debt by the end of March. Most of my dividend payers are all out of the USA to take advantage of the possible dollar devaluation in the future. I mean, we're going to have to devalue. Remember, let me play for you guys a fun video off of Twitter here, if I can find it. Let's see. You know what? I don't think I can find it very quickly on YouTube, so I just put out a video about it, I think. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let me do this very fast. This is a video that's going to be coming out here pretty soon. But basically, let me put this over here. Let me turn off the music for right there. I'm going to turn on the volume so you guys can hear exactly what's going on. It'll be all the way to the max. And just listen to this, okay? This is back in like the early 2000s, before 2010, I think.
Treasury bonds still safe to invest in?
Very much so. I think this is not an issue of credit rating. The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability.
Okay, right? Okay, there's a word of advice. My stream may get shut down in a few seconds because there was music playing at the end of that. Hopefully that's not the case, but we'll be I'll be listening in to see if that that actually happens or not. I'll be looking to see if YouTube cut off the stream. Alright. Or maybe it'll just take the money from the stream, so nobody donate to the stream. It'll be sent over to the people that own that song. Oh man. Hey Rome, happy to see you back, man. Hope you're doing well. And no worries, Cryptic Sniper. I always like going off on tangents like that because there really is so much internal strife going on in the world, but like we're still somehow making it work, which is always the beautiful thing of it. But right now we're just getting to one of these junctions where it's going to be very difficult because America is putting its like there's a reason why a lot of Republicans supported the Infrastructure Act and the CHIPS Act, because it does a lot of the stuff that they said they wanted to do, right? Repair bridges, bring a lot of those manufacturing jobs back. And Trump did a good job of bringing some back, but he wasn't able to do it in a way that got a lot of Democrat support. But remember, Democrats still supported it. So we've been trying to do this for a while. What was the hiccup, you say? It was COVID. Because that really screwed up all the supply chains we had. But I think it made it more evident that, hey, we can't be relying on all this stuff coming from China. We got to make some stuff here at least. Maybe we like doing more deals with Mexico and Canada, but Canada's pissed off at us for lowering our tax rate. Remember, Trump, I don't remember the exact numbers, but Trump lowered the tax rate quite a bit for businesses. What you saw happen was a lot of businesses coming from Canada down to the United States because it was just cheaper, less taxes. And that's been hurting the Canadian economy a little bit. So you're seeing them try to use other avenues to raise taxes. I think right now, I live in Washington, so we get trickles down from Canadians, and they talk about their problems when I talk about our problems at the bars and stuff. I think right now they have a lot of taxes around climate and stuff like that, but it's all going to the same treasure chest. So it all has a bunch of how would you even say it? It all comes around. And what ends up happening is there's some group of individuals in every country who gets disenfranchised because of these things happening. And they say, well, okay, you're doing this, two can play this game. That's literally what is going on. Oh, you're doing this, two can play this game, put them up. And then, it happens. It's interesting that it's happening. It's kind of interesting to watch it happen, but there's not much that anybody watching the stream, anybody even on YouTube altogether, there's not really much we can do. What we do instead is just try to get the best little slice of the pie for us of what's left. Let the people that get paid lots of money do all that type of hard work of figuring out, what happens next. Because, I think as we learned, it doesn't really matter who you have in the White House, who you have in Congress. Things are still kind of limping. I think we're limping right now. Sometimes like end of Obama's presidency, beginning of Trump's presidency before COVID, like those two presidents, by the time they connected, America was in a nice solid jog. We were doing okay. There were parts that were bad, but overall we were still doing okay. You can think of the end of Bush's presidency and the beginning of Obama's as we're freaking on life support, and where they're trying to resuscitate us over and over again. It's do what you can to get your slice of the pie. Try not to make all of your money from your work. Try to have a side hustle. A side hustle really does give you the ability to invest, as long as you guys aren't living outside your means. Living outside your means is the hardest thing to do these days, because life sucks so much that you feel like you have to have some way to relax, right? And I think that's kind of what the world has been up to these last few years. Since 2021, I guess. Life sucks, so let me get out there and have some fun. And that's why you have a lot of demand for all the fun stuff here. Heck, everything's more expensive. If you think about cruises, airplanes, Las Vegas is freaking expensive. That's that's the number one place to relax, basically. Everybody wants to do the same thing. We're all kind of been pent up. Hey Clifford, any good reason on Ethereum Classic? Nothing is looking particularly bullish right now. What you're hoping for at this point, if you're investing in any altcoins and going long on a day trade or even a swing trade, you're waiting for that traditional bull market bounce where you have a whale come in, and then even though the Bitcoin price action may appear to be bearish, which of course is bearish right now, you would expect them to continue to pump up the market, and that pump galvanizes everything. Let me go over here to this chart for you, and let me open up the Bitcoin Coinbase chart, which has a much longer history. And does this have... Oh, this doesn't have them here. Okay, we might have to go to this one. It's fine. All right. So here's the Bitcoin weekly chart. We're RSI is bearish, stochastic is bearish, and we have the MACD turning bearish. We haven't broken down below support, so we're still kind of in this neutral territory. Hence, you can see we're just not moving up. It's neutral. Sometimes your eyes can show you, but you just want to have that confirmation of the oscillators. We had bearish signals from everything right here, and guess what? We came plummeting down. bullish signals. Where did the bullish signals even start? Back over. For everything bullish, it happened right here, or right here. Let me double check. It ticked, yeah, right there, right before the pop off happened. But you had that big move right there, right? And then we've been kind of chugging along for a while. But if we go back to the last bull market here, we had a little bit of a bearish move right here, where bearish, right? Maybe we'll have something similar, but what happened? We still managed to hold, and then we continued to bounce up after that. I will say, though, if I move this right here to where that bearish move was, go to the dailies. There we go. The dailies and everything were still bullish, so you kind of had these mixed signals coming in. Right now we have bearish on everything almost, but we're not. We still are in that mixed zone. So that's the hope that you have right now. If you're buying in, that all of a sudden we're still going to be able to hold, and then we're just going to be there's going to be a jolt that really takes us out of here. It's harder, said than done, honestly, but there's always going to be a good amount of money in here to help us out. Go back over here to the previous ones. Now this is back all the way in 2017, so obviously that's not 2017. This is 2017. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but it's so hard because we have to go down to small numbers. We really didn't have much bearish moves in here. I mean, a few that was choppy. RSI was of course high. A little bit right here where everything was bearish, and of course it flopped down, but again, we just picked right back up. If you bought right here at the end of when all the signals were kind of green, you still made money off of it. So in my opinion, it's not like this rally is over. It's just, do we flush or do we come down? Do we come down and retest support kind of around that 35, 36, 37, 38 level? Hard supports seem to be around that 37 to 38. Moving averages and such seem to be a little bit lower, but I would say as time moves on, you're probably going to see those moving averages actually move up towards that 37, 38,000 support level. So stick with that in the back of your head. But yeah, basically, are we going to bounce off of that, or we're going to break down below those? Best chance is we're just going to actually bounce off and then go back to consolidating, lower highs, have a breakout, try to hit this level of resistance, then this level of resistance, see what happens, and eventually break out. That breakout, though, it may take all the way until the summer before things really start to kick off. There's a lot of inflation data, those boring topics, the dollar index, stuff like that. Potential wars, I guess that's not a boring topic, but maybe it should be. Maybe that make life a little bit easier. But a lot of that stuff's kind of needs to be ironed out. Oh, did I just delete? The eraser button deletes. Oh, I did not know the eraser button deletes indicators. That is interesting. Okay, I can't stand using the eraser tool. It really does just hurt my head. I think I'm actually just coming down with a headache for a second. No, this is just ADHD hitting me. Alright. Concentrating is not good. I should zoom in here to make my brain feel more comfortable. Alright. Yeah. But again, don't feel too bearish or too mad or sad or scared about Bitcoin until we start breaking down below 40,222. That's when you start to see some more concern. We're gonna have a death cross here. That's the scary thing. But we should be leveling out when it comes to the 20-day. You see how we're kind of just like leveling? It's not actually coming down yet. That's because all Bitcoin's done over the last 20 days has gone sideways. So last 20 days, right? We are replacing candles with a value of 42,293 with a value of 42,600. You don't see much reason for it, the average to move, right? Now, pretty soon we're going to start replacing candles that are at 43,000, 44,000, 45,000 with candles that are down around 42,000. That's where you see that tilt. So, it depends on if you believe that the moving average is going to make the move happen faster, or if the move's going to happen, the moving average is just going to follow it. Right now, it just seems like we're on a precipice of a very large move. Weekly charts would suggest it's going to be a bearish move. Daily charts are still kind of... But you can see either way at this point. Right now, everything's still bearish, but in a few days, if we just manage to hold, we're going to be bullish. And that could lead to a little bit more of a pump, like I said before, that goes up towards 45,000. Unfortunately, the weekly charts would still probably cause us to turn over. But we might have at least one more hurrah before that move on the downward side comes out. Let me go back over here very fast. Are the price jumps and drops in Bitcoin just a small amount of coin since I think most are holding? Yeah, it's really not too much. You've already seen that a lot of the banks and so forth that have all these Bitcoin ETFs, they're loading up on Bitcoin right now, but I think they're going through private. They're not going through the open market. They're going through private companies. That way they can, you know, buy without having the price skyrocket. It's not really a lot. There's some liquidity grabs and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, like, it is a lot of money to the average person, but yeah, we're not seeing anything crazy happen right now because what's happening now is basically Bitcoin's so high, and we haven't been this high for such a long amount of time, that, you know, a Bitcoin 1% drop is so much more dramatic than it used to. You know how like the Dow Jones nowadays, back in like 2008, if the Dow Jones fell down like 600 points or something, it'd be the end of the freaking world. But now if the Dow Jones like goes down to 800 points or 500 points, we're just like, oh yeah, it's just like 1 or 2% of the Dow Jones. That's kind of what's happening here. But people still have that feeling of, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's down $2,000. Whatever shall we do? And you know, it's unfortunate, but you know, it's just the way the market works out. If you go over here to CNBC, I'm not gonna play it because I'll get in trouble, but if you go to this video right here, type in CNBC 2008 crash. There's this video right here, way back in the day. Market collapse in 2008. I won't play the sound of it. So you can see how it's for box TVs. I'll skip around. I'll take off the music. That lady now works at CNN, I believe. Breaking news: Senate passes bill extending jobless benefits. Sends to Bush. Right. Trying to figure out. Citigroup was down $1.57. Let me see if I can find out. Can I find? Right. The Dow Jones was dropping 132 points. What day was this? Oh, March 4th. That Dow's up 52. Okay, I can't find the point that I'm looking for in here. I don't want to listen to it to actually pinpoint it, but you get the point I'm trying to make. It's just that the price of Bitcoin soared too much, and you know, everybody's freaking out about it. All right, there we go. All right, hey everybody, I'm going to end the stream right here. It's been a good hour stream with you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow. You got my word on that one. It's just that like nothing's really been happening. We had a good chat about a bunch of stuff, but we'll continue all that chat tomorrow if you guys want to. Maybe I'll come back with some other like, not articles, but just videos you guys may watch. It's always interesting to learn about the way the world's kind of ticking right now, and it's not like a nerdy stuff, or maybe it is to me, but I'll see if you guys like it or not. Just learning a little bit, like little tidbits of the way the world's kind of moving along here. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed the stream with you guys tonight. I'm gonna go grab some dinner. Believe it or not, it is 6:12, and I haven't eaten anything today. All I've had was a fig bar from Trader Joe's, I think it was, and lots of water. And I'm like realizing that I'm hungry right now. I think because I've just had a migraine the last few days. I have not been doing my daily progressions. The one thing I made sure to do today was actually take out my trash. I forgot to do that last week, and I felt like an idiot. So we'll see if today I'm getting a little bit better with it. But hey, Ken, see you guys. The Real Transporters, see you later. And DV, Carl, hope you guys all have a